Thank you. Okay, so thank you so much for having me today. Probably let me just put my video initially before I start. So thank you so much for having me here today. So like she has mentioned, my name is Ademola Toheeb Adeniji. I'm currently an Erasmus Mundus master's student in Europe. So today I'll be talking about how to make a competitive CV and also a strong statement of purpose. So without further ado, I think I will start now. Before I proceed, how many minutes do I have to?
You have 45 minutes, then 10-15 minutes for questioning.
Okay, yeah. So okay, that's fine. So I would like to share my screen.
Okay. You can share.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yes, you can see it clearly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm coming. 1 minute. I want to try to. Okay. So yeah, I'll be starting with how to make a curriculum that is CV. Like we all know that the CV is very important for any graduate school application, and it is very crucial because basically it summarizes all your personal information, your research experience, and some of the information that actually defines you. So, like we all know, because I expect that majority of us has actually been to 1 or 2 seminars on how to create a CV, or probably you already have a CV, or even maybe you've seen some YouTube videos on how to make a CV. So I think the session today will be very, very helpful to everyone because you will be able to see a very competitive CV, or probably try to review your own personal CV that you have with you. Of course, all CV are the same because what you'll be seeing here is not really different from what you've seen before. However, today's session will actually teach you how you can package, or how you can try to word the content of your CV. So the second slide here actually summarizes the content of the CV, like we already know: personal information, education, research or work experience, conference, research publication, teaching experience, leadership experience, volunteering, online courses, award and recognitions, languages and referees. Like we all know, CVs can be different because, take for instance, if you're applying to Erasmus, the way you structure your CV for Erasmus basically will be different to how you structure your CV, probably trying to apply to US graduate schools. So, because for instance, there are some sections that you really do not have to put for your European CV. So, however, today's session, we just teach you how you are going to come up, because basically if you really want to apply to schools, the first step is for you to have a CV that encompasses all your experiences, everything, either relevant or not so relevant. You have to have a single CV that will encompass all your experience. It means probably you see an application, probably you see an advertisement about a particular research. So it means that you have to pick from your already made CV and create another CV, or try to delete some stuff from it. So basically, here we are going to be walking through each of them, and I'll show you using my own personal CV, because the CV has actually won me a lot of scholarship. So I think it is very important that I use my case as an example. So yeah, this first part actually shows how you are going to structure your personal information. Yeah, you're going to put your name basically here, your phone number, your LinkedIn address, your street and stuff, and your email. So these should just capture your personal information. Yeah, there's a way you can try to like link. So I expect, because basically you shouldn't just copy um LinkedIn address. Don't just copy it and just paste it directly here. I expect you to like link it, so you can try to like watch online, but I'm very confident that you should be able to do something like this in your work. So just when you're in your CV, right click, scroll down, you are going to see something like link. Copy the link in the address and name the link, like put link. So I think you should be able to do this. So basically, this is how your personal information should look like. So I don't want to see your marital status or some other personal information. So this should be enough. So the next thing here is we are going to be going to your education section. So this education section should really be short, because you don't have to put a lot of information, because it will sound as if you are repeating a lot of information. Like take for instance, yeah, if you already have a master's, just like in my case, you have to put, because yeah, I'm studying like in two institutions. So I try to like put it there. Probably you already have your master's, just put something like this. So you can put expected. So yeah, if you already have your bachelor's, just put your institution, your course, and also your graduation GPA, as well. Put your address and the timeline of your bachelor's degree. So basically, this is how you should like structure your education. Yeah, because I think people always love to put, probably in your education section, you put something like, let's say people can put, okay, best student in this under your education section. You don't really need to do that, because they will check all your application package. It doesn't really mean that the focus of the review of your application will just be on your CV. No, they will check everything. So basically just try to like put it. Now I have a comment for someone, probably you are someone that have like a 2-2. You don't really have to put second class division, lower credit. No, you don't have to put it. So because you must make it look as if it is making a very good sense. So yeah, you can just try to put your GPA and put it in percentage. Take for instance, if somebody, probably you have like, let's say 3.5 over 5.0, you can just put it in percentage, just put something like 3.5 divided by 5, and that's like 70%. So just put into bracket 70%. So if, take for instance, there are some departments that it is very difficult to have a first class in some schools. So you can just put, okay, probably you might even be lucky to have a 2-1 and you are even the best graduating student in your class. So you can also put your top, maybe top 5%, top 4, top 6, or top 7%. So that is that about the education section. Here we have the research and work experience. So yeah, it depends. It could be, probably in your case, you have a lot of work experience. Instead of saying research experience, you can just put work experience. So I think that would actually be nice. So yeah, what you really want to do here is that put the title, like the title of where you are working, and also your role, the location, and also the timeline. So this is very important, the way you are going to structure your research experience. And now, what are your responsibilities? This is also equally important. Here, you have to start with a verb in the past form. You can see I'm using something like a very good verbs: characterized, studied, investigated, performed, conducted. So probably if you are like, probably it is like work experience, it will be like improved, maybe like you got a funding for the company or something like that. So just try to make sure everything starts with a verb. And now, like in my case, because I've actually performed all these, if the work is in like continuous, probably you are still in the role, make sure that it is like a continuous verb. And of course, you must have achieved something in that particular role. So I expect that the way you are going to structure your research or work experience should take this form. Now, the next we are actually going to be seeing is the conference and seminar. So you really did not have to tell me that, I don't have like a conference, I don't have this, I don't have that. It is not possible. It is not like, I don't think it is possible because you are on Twitter, you are seeing you are attending some online space, you have YouTube, probably there's a particular conference ongoing and probably they've uploaded the recorded conference, and you must, if you actually follow through the video, of course you also attended the conference. So basically, yeah, if you've attended the conference, yeah, I attended the conference online, of course, electrochemical colloquium. So you can say attended professor. So I try to like mention the name of the professor so that it will look like, oh, I think I know this professor in USA. Okay, I think this student is actually quite updated to what is actually going on. I also like attended a conference by this professor. And now there can be question that how can we like know where to actually see all this type of conference? You can just go on Twitter, because let me tell you the way I knew about this, because I always try to search on Twitter. I will just search for electrocatalysis because I'm interested in this type of research. So like I was just fortunate to come across this particular professor, and I saw that he has like an upcoming seminar, and there was a link. I just like followed, and I was able to attend the online conference as well. I was able to follow this conference as well. Okay, I think these other ones probably it is a conference, maybe your school, and they actually tell you to write a report. You can also put it there and try to link your report to it. Maybe if the reviewer is interested in what you've done, they can just click it and say, okay, let's just take a look. Yeah, probably you have presented a poster at a particular conference. Like in my case, I presented a poster. You can see the way I try to like arrange everything. So I think trying to follow this format will basically make your CV competitive. So moving ahead, here we have your publication and sample writing. The reason why I put sample writing is that it is not compulsory that you must have had like publication, or maybe I don't have publication and you've done a lot of lab reports, you've written reports. That's why it is very important that anything you are doing, probably we have undergraduates in our midst, it is very important that anything you are told to do during school, make sure you do it properly. Because here, the way undergraduates do their stuff, like it is really incredible, because you feel like they are already like PhD students. They make sure they do everything very well. So yeah, make sure any reports you are writing in your school, make sure you do it very well, put good references. Don't just go to Wikipedia, copy stuff. Probably they ask you to write some report about a lab that you've done. Don't just copy everything verbatim, because you will not have the benefit to have like a sample writing, because everything here, the reviewer can just feel like, okay, let me check the plagiarism of what you've actually linked. So it is as if you shot yourself in the leg. So basically, if you have a publication that has been accepted for publication, a manuscript rather, that has been accepted for publication, so you can try to like put it very well. You don't have to put the name of the journal, because you really have to avoid it to be like three lines. So 2 lines is quite nice. So yeah, this is like a manuscript that has been accepted for publication in my case. Here, this is a lab report, because here you can see the section that I put sample writing. It means that it is not compulsory that I have publication, because majority of us might not have the opportunity. So, but you might have written a report, or even if your final year thesis, you already have your final year thesis, you can put it in this format. But here, you don't have to put all the whole thesis, just put the abstract. So just put abstract. Instead of calling it link, you can call it abstract. So they can try to read. So that is a way of showing that if given the opportunity, I can be able to write anything you ask me to write. So that is the essence of this publication of sample writing. So yeah, so basically, and if you have already like published some work, some articles, so you can try to like link it and make sure that it is just two stuff. Yeah, if you want to put it, make sure you put report submitted to this department and the country, and basically that's that. So that is how I feel you should like project your research publication and sample writing. Next, yeah, so your awards and recognitions, so make sure you just state them one after the other, okay, from most recent to the least recent. So make sure you just put everything up. Okay, yeah, there can be questions that, I don't really have any award, or what am I going to put? Because I've reviewed a lot of CVs and I've like seen that people don't really put award. There's a way you can try to like put award first, because in the kind of Nigerian system, most of the universities, they don't even give anything in terms of, okay, this school, this particular student actually, okay, this particular student is really good in this aspect. So probably you are studying chemical engineering, they can say, oh, you are very good in control, you are very good in thermodynamics, you are very good in catalysis, you are very good in these subjects, because oftentimes it is not possible for you to have interest in all the courses. It is not possible. So there are some courses, okay, you might even be good in biotechnology because you feel you can read a lot of things. You can read, but in terms of calculation or trying to do programming or stuff like that, you might not really be that good. So now, probably you've seen that there are some courses you think you excel so well. Take, for instance, if you are interested in a kind of research on thermodynamics or probably on, let's say, chemical reaction engineering, and you are interested in catalysis, and you are fortunate that in this particular course, you feel like you had the highest score during that particular session. You have to be truthful in this case. So you must be certain that you had the highest score. So this kind of course, you can try to like put, okay, top 2%. If you are not that certain, but you can just say, okay, top 3% or top 1% in this particular subject. So that, because of course you have to be careful, because they will check your transcript and they will correlate that, okay, probably this course you had like 90 something or probably 80 something. It is not possible. I think no matter how bad you are in the university, there are some courses that you will still have like 80 something or 70 something, no matter how. Even people that had 2-1 or 2-2, there will be that course that you really know so well and you excel so well. So basically, that is how to put like award and recognition in your case. Also, if you've received not, probably it is not academic award, it could be like leadership award. Try to put it there, because it will give you the opportunity not to have a scanty CV, because if your CV is struggling to make like 2 pages, basically CV should be like 2 pages. So your CV shouldn't struggle to make 2 pages. Okay, moving ahead, yeah, we have language and digital skills. I think this is often seen in Erasmus and also some US application. Yeah, probably you are making a CV for Erasmus, you have to put your language. Maybe you can speak English very well in terms of, okay, professional speaker, French, intermediate, Portuguese, beginner, stuff like that. Computing skills, okay, you have this. Yeah, we have analytical skills. Take, for instance, if you are studying a course, probably like chemistry, and you know chemistry involves a lot of analytical techniques, so you can try to list all the techniques. Also, if you feel like your CV is going to be scanty, you can as well put your language and digital skills in your maybe US application or Canada application. Make sure you put it there, because it will make it look nice. Um, Moving ahead, yeah, we have reference. You can just try to like put, okay, the names of your referees. I've seen in some cases, probably you are just scrolling through like LinkedIn, you're scrolling, you just come across a particular post, probably somebody shared it. You just feel like, I think this thing actually looks like my area of research. Okay, let me send. Maybe the professor just put it there that make sure you attach your list of referees in your, like, you might state it in the CV or probably in your email to the supervisor. So just make sure you try to put the details of your professor this, department of this, and the email of the professor. Also, you can also put the phone number with the country code. So that's very important. So I think, yeah, let me show you a sample if you've actually like follow. Let's see if the sample will come out. Okay, I think the sample is coming out somewhere else. Okay, yeah. So if you've like tried to like make your CV following the format, you see that everything will look so organized. And also, if you are trying to put the bullet point, make sure the bullet point is well arranged. Like they feel like you know at times some people are so lucky that probably it might just be you have like a kind of good impression to like your profile has like a good impression to the supervisor and feel like, oh, I like how this student try to like align all his stuff. It means you must have put a lot of work into making this kind of CV. So it means make sure that everything, the bullet point, there's no like shifting. Maybe these are shifted to this side. It will make the review process to look so boring. I feel like, oh, I'm not even like motivated to really review it because everybody, we are human. So make sure that everything is well aligned and there's no problem anyway. So I think that's like, oh, I think my slide has adjusted. 1 minute, let me try to scroll. So yeah, so that's like the sample of the CV. I think this is going to be the end of the first section. I think I spent like 20 minutes explaining this. So now we are going to be moving to the next section. The next section is about statement of purpose. Yeah, so this is where they will really see who you are. Like, okay, we've seen your CV. Your CV is quite nice, but how are we going to be certain that you can like explain your experience? How are we going to be certain that you really know what you are doing? How are you going to like explain all these your experiences? How will you like connect everything to make it look interesting and exciting, of course? So like we know that the SOP will actually contains the introduction, of course. You have to explain your research experience and your work experience. Also, it is very important that you explain the volunteering experience, what you have done outside academics. This is very important because they'll feel like, okay, if I should take you to my lab, if we have some other things that we really want to do and it is not even like related to academics, will you be able to do it? So like school, like in my case, it was really surprising to me that there are a lot of things that actually goes like aside academics. So you see when you actually get to those countries of your choice, you really see that a lot of things happens outside academics. So make sure that you really project your volunteering experience. Another thing is why you chose, I think I should put chose, okay, why you chose the university and also professors of interest and your future goals. Yeah, this kind of format is basically for like, let's say Canadian schools and also like US schools. But if you're writing like an Erasmus SOP, I think there might be some little shift in terms of you don't really have to mention professors of interest because it is just a master's program and you really will not even be studying in just a particular university. So you'll be studying a lot of universities. So why would you say you are really interested in this particular professor when you'll be seeing like almost 20 professors throughout your 2-year study? So make sure that, but basically, of course, everything will look like the same thing in terms of trying to explain your research experience, especially the introduction part. So let us now look at each of these. I'll be showing you an example, a very good example, what you really have to do to actually make a strong CV. So the first part here, this first part here is the introduction. The introduction, you really have to say 3 parts because, for instance, there are some people that feel like, I've I've attended a lot of online webinar where they will discuss about SOP and stuff like that. And of course, it has been really helpful. And now, and I've read a lot of SOPs as well. There are some people that are very good to write, and also probably you have like a very touching story. Some people, they will start with their background story and stuff like that. But if you are like a student that doesn't really have like a touching story, like myself, I don't really think I can think of like a touching story that can like motivate me. Some people can say, okay, I have trekked from here to like Ibadan for me to be able to go to school. Probably I study under the under the street light for me to be able to have a first class. So, but if that is not like your case, there are like ways in which you can structure your introduction. First, have a research interest. So once you pick that research interest, put it aside. Take for instance, in this particular SOP, we are going to be looking at this person is interested in something like renewable energy. We have a lot of renewable energy. I think it is something that deals with nanomaterials applied to renewable energy. So this person, that's like this individual research interest. The next step, identify a problem. It might be in your country or probably what you've seen in the world. It can be, okay, there's problem of plastic waste, of stuff like that. So identify this problem. So when you identify the problem, I think this last part, I really meant to say review your intention. I think it is, yeah, of course, the introduction also have to contain, you have to contain something that reviews your intention. If you want a master's degree, make sure you review it, you like review it. Don't wait till the like in the future goal or probably in the last second to the last paragraph before you review your intention. Once I read your first paragraph should tell me why you are actually writing this SOP. Now, this example, I actually took it online in a particular famous website. It is basically common to people in the US because this website, it is for people applying to the National Science Foundation Research Fellowship. So it is for American citizens. So here, we are basically fortunate that the awardees actually put in their personal statement. So they like after this session, I will really share the website with you guys. So basically now we are going to be saying all what I've highlighted. So if you try to like read, this person is saying, my love for engineering started with boiling hot wanting soup and Carlos fingers. I first became interested in material science when I worked at my father's Chinese takeout restaurant throughout high school, packing takeout orders and answering the phones every Saturday night. I noticed that the plastic container he used became more malleable due to the high temperatures, which made handling the food painful, difficult, and cumbersome. You can see that this is like a problem. Like the person has actually started with trying to highlight a particular problem this individual has actually come across. It might probably in your country, maybe you are interested in renewable energy and you see that, okay, fine, almost everywhere we basically do not have lights. Like there are I've read a lot of stories that people have died basically based on like generator fumes. Some people are not so careful. They put their generator within their door, and you might not know something else. Probably the smoke has started coming out, and probably the person has heart disease or stuff like that. So it might actually basically lead to death. So you have to make sure that you identify this problem. So once you identify that problem that is connected to your research interest, and even though if you're finding it difficult to see the problem, what you really have to do is that go to research article, because if you want to like write the introduction of a manuscript, you have to like start with the problem so that it will make it more captivating. They feel like, oh, I think this research is really quite nice. So make sure you go to the research article and see the kind of problem they are trying to like solve with that particular research interest. So you cannot see that I aspire to become the first person to make study biodegradable plastic a commonplace item, even for small business owners. Okay, although my passion for plastic has waned, I have pivoted towards making novel materials accessible to the general public with a focus on improving the state of materials for clean energy. Like this person is trying to like state the goal basically. And now you can now see this is the intention of this individual. I plan to complete a PhD in chemical engineering, working towards a faculty position and focusing on research that develops and implement optoelectronic nanomaterials in renewable energy application. So you can see now, let's see what this student have written here. I have long wanted to pursue a career as a teacher, but it will not until college that I realized professors have the unique opportunity to mentor students, conduct innovative research, and provide broad society benefits all in one role. So you can see, basically, this introduction contains like the summary of what we are expecting to come. Like in the previous section, the person will be explaining something about the research experience and also your future goals and other stuff. So here again, the most important part is for you to identify your research interest, identify a problem, and also review your intention. You can see if you read this, there are a lot of samples, irrespective of your discipline. You are going to see it in the comment section. So yeah, I think I'm still on time. Moving to the next is the research experience. How are you going to like explain your experience? Because I've read a lot of SOP and I'll see students, they'll just be like a particular undergraduate research experience that you've spent almost 1 year. If you are fortunate, I don't know, should I even call it fortunate? Probably in terms of ASU strike, the ASU strike extended it to like 2 years and you're able to do a lot of things in your final year research, and you are projecting this research in just like 2 sentences. Like whenever I read something like that, I feel like, wow, okay. Like, because not that all these white, what they do, it is really like that spectacular. Of course, most of them do something that is pretty exciting and they do a lot of stuff, but majorly it can be comparable with what we do in our countries as well in some cases. So yeah, your research experience, how are you going to do that? First, how do you got to this experience? You have to tell us. So you cannot just say, and I have also tried to synthesize drug, where, how, and why did you even come in contact with drug? So you have to tell us, how did you go to this experience? Let's see in this particular same SOP. I have pursued multiple independent research projects within the field of material science and renewable energy. Good. My first project was through Drexel University student tackling advanced research scholars program. So we already know, okay, it is in this particular domain or this particular program, of course, a selective 10-week program that allows freshmen to work full-time in research the summer after their freshman year. Okay, I've seen the duration, which is quite nice. During this program, good. That is where you're going to have your aim. During this, I don't know. Yeah, during this program, let's see, I confirmed the potential of an absorber material for solar cells application in the nanomaterials for energy application and technology lab led by Dr. Jasim Pasta. So now here you can see what these individuals have done. So like now you can see this person is obviously interested in nanomaterials and has conducted a research in nanomaterials. I know there will be a question like, what about if all my experience doesn't even align with my new interest? It doesn't matter. You have to explain your research experience, but I will still come to that part. Here, you have to apply, you have to show the method. So you have to explain what you did, like method, what did you carry out? Okay, I did this and that and this. Also tell us the result. Okay, at the end, I was able to confirm the presence of this particular thing or stuff like that. So make sure you mention the result. And finally, what is the impact of the experience? So you have to tell us the impact of the experience. So you can see, let's see, I presented my findings in a poster at 3 technical conferences resulting in first place and fourth place prizes, and increasing my confidence in science communication. So that is the impact of the experience. So don't just write your experience. You've written the experience, but what is like the conclusion? The conclusion is for you to tell us how the experience has impacted your progress. So basically, this is very important. And now, the next thing I'll be explaining is, so that's how you do, not just for a research experience or work experience, you have to do it, you can write a multiple of them. Like your CV, your SOP should be, you should initially have like a first draft. The first draft will explain all your experience, everything. So like in my case, I'm looking forward to submitting my application for a PhD program. I have already written like all my experience down in a particular file. So it means whenever I just see a particular application, I see that, okay, it is interesting. I'll just copy all the paragraph, I'll just join everything together. That's all. So it doesn't matter that, oh, okay, I have to start writing another SOP. No, I'll just feel like, okay, which are the ones that maybe aligns with what I really want to apply to. I'll just take them, put them together, and that's all. So that is very important for the research experience. Also, the way we have written this research experience, you have to write your volunteering experience like that as well, following this particular format. Now, let's move ahead. Yeah, why you chose the university. What will you be explaining? You have to explain the strength of the department. The lecturers, probably the type of research they do. And in terms of the lecturer, probably they have good lecturer to student ratio. Maybe it is just like, it is quite nice, maybe 4 students to a particular lecturer, which is really a good department. In terms of the faculty, try to check the school as a whole. So you have to mention, it can even be in terms of the location. Probably take, for instance, if you are someone that doesn't like cold, and maybe below 10 degrees, you start to have maybe like malaria or stuff like that, I will really not advise you to go to a region that is so cold, like Michigan. You are really afraid of cold, but you really want to go to University of Michigan. Of course, it is not a problem for you to go there, but if it is going to have a detrimental impact to your health, I don't really see why you have to go to that particular school. Now, probably in terms of funding, maybe the school is located in a very good area. You can also mention it. Probably the school is known to always have a stable funding. You also have to mention that maybe you have come in contact with some alumni of the school. So probably maybe one of the seniors told you to apply. You can also mention that, okay, because of their alumni, they were able to see good job and they are really doing well in life. So I think these are good reasons for you to choose, a particular, I don't know why, a particular university. So you have to check. And how are you going to see some of these things? It is pretty easy. Just check the university website. They are always available there. Like they will mention, because they really want to convince you to come to their school. Of course, they would have put it there that, okay, well, fine, you have to come to this school because we offer this, we offer this, we offer this. Make sure you check the department as well. They will always tell you, because they want people, because when you go to their page, they really want to convince you to come to their school. So basically, try to check the university website for you to be able to write a good paragraph of why you chose the university. Moving ahead, you have to tell us some professors you are interested in. If you are applying to a master's or PhD program in maybe US or Canada, make sure you highlight some professors that you're interested in. Identify like 2 professors and research group. So write few sentences about what they do and how it aligns with your research interest. So make sure you do this. Moving ahead, this part, your future goals. These future goals, there are sometimes that when you read some people's statement of purpose, you just have to give them that scholarship, because you will really see that they've put in the work to write a convincing statement of purpose. That's why some people, when they apply, most of the time, they always get their scholarship. So yeah, in the future goal section, you have to explain where you see yourself after the program, connect your experience, okay. Connect your experience with your future goals and solve a problem. So, yeah, if we go through this kind of if we go to this kind of future goals from that particular statement of purpose, you see that everything basically aligns. Everything basically aligns with what I've listed here in this section. So just make sure you go through, uh, make sure you write it so captivating and that. Yeah. Moving ahead, yes, this website for free SOP. I've seen like in the chat where somebody have asked that I'm only focusing on science. Yeah, I have this website for you guys. Obviously, if you're in the art discipline or probably the commercial discipline, basically you have to follow the same prototype. And if you really want to see essays in your discipline, I don't care the discipline you are, probably law, you're studying law or anything like that. So make sure you go to essayforum.com. I don't know if I can go to this website for you to be able to see that. Let me check. Yeah, yes. So this is the website. What you just need to do is come here. Okay, I think I've searched before. SOP Finance. So just search SOP Finance, go. So you are going to see a lot of SOPs, I don't know, a lot of them. So as to be able to see, okay, let's see, okay, SOP for Masters of Finance, you can just go there and see the way this person has written their SOP. So you can try to learn from it. And also, it is very important, never copy anything online and put it in your SOP. You know why? Because that particular field where they will ask you to upload your statement of purpose, that field might have already be like embedded with Turnitin, because Turnitin actually like check for your plagiarism. So once you've actually put anything in your document that has been taken online, it will just write it there. You already know how Turnitin does the work. So make sure you do not like check anything online. And if maybe you are inspired by a particular sentence, make sure you go to like let's say something like this website. I've forgotten, I don't know why, but I'll still mention it very soon. Yeah, so I think that will be all from me in this particular webinar. So also, I think there's something I should really talk about. It is this Alex Hunter website, alexhunterlang.com. So this is the website where I picked the SOP I used as sample in this talk. So that will be all from me. So I don't know if anyone has a question. Also, yeah, Quibot. Yeah, somebody already put it in the comment section. Yeah, Quibot.com. So I think that will be all for me in this.
Thank you very much. This has really been very enlightening. I think there are some questions in the chat box. Let me see. I have some questions. Must one have certificate for the online course before putting it in one's CV? That's the first question.
Please, can you say it again, please?
For the MOOCs, must one have certificate for the online courses before putting it in CV? Then how can one join the? Okay, I would answer the second one. So
how can I work? How can I work?
No, the person was asking about how he or she can join the Muslims in Research group. I said I would answer that one. So it's just the first one about, do you need to have the certificate for your online courses before you add it to your CV?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, about the question, for me, I don't really think it is important for you to have a certificate for a particular online course, because for instance, there are some online courses you might not be able to finish, because take for instance, I'm kind of like quite lazy. So if maybe I'm checking for something and I've actually learned that particular concept, I might not really like finish the course again, but I don't really advise you. Make sure you finish all your online courses. Yeah, it's very important. Please make sure you finish everything. So now it is not important that you finish it, because just basically just state it there. I think I showed, I don't know if I show something about MOOCs, online courses in the CV. I don't know. I think I did not. I think I did not show. So basically, if take for instance, if you've taken online course, you have to follow this format as well in terms of your research experience. Take for instance, I might have even seen a YouTube video. It might even be a YouTube video that I've spent almost 1 hour checking that particular video, and it applies to your research interest. So how are you going to do it? Just put, okay, online MOOCs, put the okay, put the name of the course. I don't know. Maybe it is, let's say, introduction to finance. Maybe it is introduction to finance. Put the website. So it might be, I don't know, maybe dx.org. So just put here no, you don't really have to put this, because this will not be there again. And just put the month. It can just be maybe 1 month. Basically, it will be like a month, basically. Just say February 2022. And probably it is like a lot of weeks long online course. Just put from February, maybe February to March, basically. And here, specifically write all what you've learned. Of course, yeah, because if you notice, I have like 5 bullet points. It is not important that you really have to have 5 bullet points. 2 bullets, it might be 2, because they will check, because you don't have to really deceive yourself. Why? Because if you put a lot of bullet points, and here in the timeline, you really have like maybe like 1 month, it is not possible for you to achieve all these in 1 month. So you have to be careful. So if you have like 1 month, your bullet point should be, though of course it is possible for you to do a lot of things, but basically if you are doing something that is quite good or quite intense, I think it should just be like 2 weeks, maybe like 2 bullet points, 2 to 3 bullet points are basically enough. So just make sure you put what you've learned in 2 to 3 bullet points and put it there. So nobody is going to ask you, okay, bring the certificate of what? No, 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 no. I've not seen, because I've reviewed a lot of people's SOP that have applied to Erasmus, and they've won it without even like showing their CV or stuff like that. And they've structured it that way. And I don't think those online courses, they finished everything. So you don't really have to finish or get that certificate before you include it in your CV. So I think that's all.
Yeah, two people's hands are raised. Larry, you can ask your question.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum, Professor.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, you don't just.
Hello? I don't know if it is
Sorry, we
my...
can't hear you, Larry. Larry, we can't hear you, so move to the next person. Muiz.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi
Welcome.
First off, I would like to thank the speaker. Really did a great justice to the presentation, and thank you very much. Jazakumullah khair. I also like to thank him again, because it was the one that welcomed me at Charles de Gaulle Airport last year. I hope you could remember. Yeah. So I just want to add 1 or 2 things to what he said regarding the MOOC, and I would advise that if you're applying to Erasmus, it's better that you put courses that you finished. I'm going to give an example. Let's say, for example, you are in, let's say, computer science, and the field of computer science that you are is maybe part A, but the program is focusing on, let's say, part B. So it's advisable that you take MOOC courses so that you can learn more about the part B that you don't know, because it's going to be redundant if you already know something in part A, let's say data science. So it's not going to make sense. And these days, the contest is kind of getting tougher and tougher each year. So I wouldn't want you to kind of limit your chances by not finishing the MOOC courses online. And yes, I will judge based on my program, because I think they did a lot of verification about anything and everything that you're putting out there. So it's not quite all right to put incomplete application, just to add a few. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Larry, are you still online if you want to ask your question?
Yeah, sorry, my network has been bad. So about the bullet, is it like, should we stick to consistency? Like now, I see your CV has consistent 5 bullet points on each of your roles. Like someone that doesn't have up to 5 in some roles, can it choose to use 3 or 2? Like he advised that we use same number.
Oh,
Yeah. So
Larry, we can't hear you, but I think you get.
Yeah, I think I get. Yeah, obviously, I personally I feel the bullet point should be a function of time, because basically, yeah, if you see most of those bullet points, these are experiences in which I spent at least like a minimum of 5 months. So I think majorly, and of course, I've done a lot of stuff. So I think that was what influenced my 5 bullet point. Obviously, you can have 2 in this. I've seen a lot of CV, obviously. You might have 2 in this. Maybe probably it is just a short internship. Or you can still have another one that is 5. It could be 5, it could be 3, it could be 4. So majorly, make sure that it's like a function of what you've done. So it doesn't really have to mean that it must be 5 or 3. No.
Okay, can I continue? Sorry, I'm back.
I think you got your question, unless you have another question to ask.
Yeah, I have 5 questions. That's just 2 out of 5. The first one, I don't know if you have
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know if you have read the first one on the first one of the, what was the first one? The bullet. Okay, you said that one already.
Yeah.
The second one was on the app. That is it advisable to use an app to build a CV?
App. Oh, okay. App. Yeah, because in Erasmus, they always refer people to use the online version of building a CV. So I think you can, but at times, if you apply, because take for instance, if you are applying to like Stanford Chemical Engineering, I don't think it really makes sense to use an app, because they already specify that it must be 1-page CV. And now it will be so difficult for you to, the app will really behave the way they've programmed it. So all your experience that you might have squeezed in 1 page might be like extending to like 2 pages. So I think app is good if you are applying to a particular application that doesn't require you that it must be 2 pages, 3 pages. Of course, you can use that because the layout, the design, everything will be consistent. But if you are restricted to the number of pages, because at times I could recall when I was applying to the Erasmus program, they specified that it must be 2 pages. And now I was finding it difficult for me to like squeeze my experience to 2 pages. I had to like just do some personal magic, so to be able to squeeze everything. So basically make sure that basically depends on the application. If there's no restriction, no problem. Yeah.
Sorry, the first one on SOP. Yeah, you didn't mention, you did not make mention of word length. Should we stick to the word length of the application, or we can write one based on our own word length? Then when we apply, we can adjust. Yeah. Then that one is 2 in 1 question. Then you talked about plagiarism on SOP.
Yes.
The plagiarism on SOP now, like what percentage should we be working with 2 words when we write SOP?
Okay. Yeah. So okay. Now
answer that one. The rest.
So the word length, I have seen if you're applying to US schools, they always put, because take for instance, I have like an Excel. The Excel actually tracks the pages of CV that was specified to an application. So what I always see there is that they will specify that, okay, your SOP must be 2 pages. Most often time I always see pages, but in Erasmus application, most programs, they always put it there that you must try a particular word. Like in my program, I can remember that they gave us a series of questions and they put it there 150 words. So it depends on what they ask you to do. But in this, my presentation, what I actually presented here is that have a particular first draft that will explain all your experience. So once you have that draft, so depending on the recommendation of the application, so just pick from there and create another CV. Obviously, you'll not be adding anything again. So just probably, maybe there are some paragraphs you just need to summarize, so you don't really have to talk about how you got to that experience. But what we need here is just like what you did. So basically, that's that about the word length. It depends on the application, and also it depends on, maybe it is in terms of pages. But here, make sure you have like a first draft of all your experience. So
the turn it in percentage.
okay, the plagiarism. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So the plagiarism, for me, I think because it is very, very critical, I think there shouldn't be like plagiarism. Like for me, it
It
is very
should be
difficult for me
zero.
to see. Like it should be zero, because I don't think you should copy anything online personally, because you shouldn't even have like 4% plagiarism, because it is not even a research manuscript where I have to like cite people. Basically, it should be like zero, maybe 0 to 1, but I cannot say 1 because that might just be your only chance and you want to shoot yourself because of one thing that you've copied online. So please do not, like, it should be zero, basically 0%. Yeah.
Okay, question number 4 now. Can I include famous quotes in my SOP? Like any
Yeah.
any
Yeah. I've seen, I think you can, yes, if it makes sense. So I think you can put it here. I've
And
seen it.
finally, the last one, the last
Yeah.
question. Do you recommend that an undergraduate student go for a conference if you can afford it or if possible? Or you should publish a book chapter or perhaps a manuscript, a journal manuscript? Which one will you recommend? Undergraduate in this case.
Yeah. So for undergraduate, I think going to research conference is advisable, because majorly it is just like, let's say 5% of students in, I don't know, because I'm not sure about the figure I'm quoting, but of course I attended a Nigerian school. So I think majorly undergraduate should just go to research conference. So in terms of book chapter, I've seen a lot of students that are very good in writing. I've seen a lot of them on LinkedIn. When I'm scrolling, I'll just see this student already, an undergraduate, has like maybe 15 publications. So if you know you are very confident of your writing and you can write without copying something online and you can present your idea, there's no problem having like a book chapter. But if you feel you don't really have the prowess, because it is a function of time and experience. So if your experience keeps growing, your writing will also keep growing. But I think majorly research conference where you present maybe poster or probably part of your work is basically advisable, of course. So also, like, again, it is not compulsory that you have to have a research publication before you have a scholarship. It is not compulsory. You might have written, because there could be a Sunday that you've sat down, maybe for like 5 hours, you can write like, let's say like a review on a particular subject, maybe 2 pages. You can just write that review, put it, you can upload it on your research gate and put it as your sample writing. And basically it is quite enough for me, because I just really want to check, can you be able to write something that makes sense? So I think that's what people do look into, because a lot of people don't have this research publication and they have full funding, and we've seen a lot of them. So I think it is not really important, but please make sure you go to research conference as an undergraduate. And if you are very good, make sure you put yourself into writing book chapters or manuscript, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Larry, for your questions. They are very important questions. There's a question in the chat box. Someone said, how can we convert our CGPA to top percent? Can you please come again with the explanation? I think when
It is just normal. It is just normal division. Just divide your
I think the
CGPA.
person is referring to, when you said for some courses you would know if you are like the top 5%.
Oh, okay. I mean the award. I think specifically this is for people that doesn't really have an award per se. Probably you don't really, maybe you are like average student and you don't really have like an award. So I think majorly you can check through your transcript. If you check through your transcript and you see that there are some courses that you've excelled very well, maybe like you got like 85% and above, and you feel like, okay, I think you remember that you are part of people that actually scored high in this particular course. So you can just put sincerely, using a very good mind, because we are Muslims, because basically there's no point lying in your CV, because at the end of the day, everything will be opened when you get to that school, because they will tell you to do what you've said on your CV. And if you are not able to do it, there will be problems. So there's no point. Just put the correct thing that represents you. And when you get there, Allah is going to help us. So I think basically make sure that everything you put there is really like very correct. So now, if you have a very good score in a particular course, you can just put top 5% or top 4% or something like that. Okay, top 4% in, let's say, in chemical engineering, let's say chemical reaction engineering, top 4% in programming or Python programming or stuff like that. So I think, and also you have to be careful. Make sure that all those ones you'll be highlighting is directly related to that research interest you are pushing in your SOP. So don't just put something that doesn't really contribute to your profile or to your application. So I think that is that about.
Yeah. Thank you once again, Toyi. I don't think there's any other question in the chat box. Is there any other question before we come to the end of this? And just to mention again, this discussion is organized by Muslims in Research and Academics, which is a group of young Muslims who are interested in, or who are in their early careers in academic, or who are interested in starting their careers. And we discuss various topics that are necessary to build your graduate school, to build your career, and inshallah, we hope for the group to get better and have more discussions like this. So the discussion is every month, last Sunday of the month, 7:30 p.m. Nigerian time. And for the person that asked a question initially, if you are interested in joining the group, you can put your WhatsApp number down and I will add you to the group, inshallah. And with that, we come to the end of today's program. It's 9:41. Yes, I'm sorry. We come to the end of today's program. Jazakumullah khairan everybody for joining. And Jazakumullah khairan to Toheeb for sharing his knowledge with us. May Allah reward you abundantly. And